That looks good, Brad. That looks good. Woo! Woo! Can you hear us on there? Is it close enough?
Help! Help! Let me out! I'm screaming for help. I'm begging for help. Please come let me out.
Well,
3, 2, 1. We're live.
Welcome to Tumble Home.
Podcast.
Brought to you by Clearwater Canoe Outfitters and Lodge. I am Eric, joined as always and forever by good
Mr.
friend,
Nugget.
Mr. Nugget.
And I got some Folgers.
Your light,
tonight.
you need to turn your mic so that you're talking into the blue light there. Otherwise, there's going to be some complaints.
Welcome. My name is Mr. Nugget, Monsieur Nouget, and I'm here with a fine cup of Folgers.
Monsieur Nouget.
Welcome to Tumble Home. We're coming to you live from the Studio K here on the beautiful shores of the K Dunce River.
Yeah.
Ain't no other place like it on earth.
I can't agree more. So we are obviously part 3. First 3-part series.
It's big.
Can you believe it?
I can. I was there.
Yes.
And it felt like a 3-part series at the time. And
yeah,
I think that stands the test of time as well.
Yeah. So this is also first time 3-part series, first time half studio, half in the field.
Yes.
So it's been like 3 weeks since we've done anything like up to date. So we think it would be good to kind of like round out some questions that we didn't really answer in the field parts.
Yeah, there's some loose ends that need to be tied.
So before we tie up loose ends, get you to that remaining field audio, which is interesting.
Is it? I have no idea what's left for the field audio.
Yeah, it's good. We talk about ring ruts.
It's the ring runners.
Yeah, and then like just our final 15-20 minutes at the landing at Round Lake to finish up that last day out. Before we get
a good Gillis audio coming at you in the future.
Gillis audio.
Stick around for that.
Before we get to that, we do have an amazing sponsorship beer-wise this week.
It's truly fitting for a trip of this magnitude.
Yeah, truly fitting. Unfortunately, but fortunately, on one hand, because I like the story that associated with it, this was literally just handed to me in the parking lot at Clearwater from a guy going on a trip. And he said,
"It does happen.
I love the show. Every episode brings me joy. Enjoy the beer." And that was it. He didn't want it. He didn't even want his name associated, or if he did,
his name was Joy.
Yeah,
a good friend.
It's a Sierra Nevada trip in the woods. Perfect barrel-aged series. This is a ginger Bigfoot ale aged in whiskey barrels with ginger added.
I know we've talked about our belief in aliens.
Yes, we did on the part 1, of course. Greys, Nordics, all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cork this. You can continue.
Right. What about Bigfoots, though?
I don't believe in Bigfoots nearly as much as I do aliens.
Yeah, I mean, if they are, they're like interdimensional beings of some sort, right?
Yeah, cryptids.
Right. But aliens seem to make more sense. I was listening to the audio on the kind of dodgy, real dodgy here with this trip in the woods.
Ooh, here we go.
I was listening to some of the audio from the first part of the part of the park, and I just wanted to note too how much I believe truly that the aliens are just us from the future.
Yeah.
I don't think I got to that, and that's the only other thing I wanted to add onto the outline.
Yeah.
It's just us from the future, from like 8100, something like that.
Yeah, and we've evolved into like basically just looking like a plain gray version because we've
hairless, telepathic, gentle. Are they gentle? Mm-hmm. They don't have Folgers anymore in 8100. I guarantee you that. Maybe they have this fine barrel-aged beers though. I'd be disappointed to find out that there are aliens, but then there's no. They got rid of beer at some point, like along with the ability to speak.
Well, Dan
We don't
Aykroyd
need-
believes that there's 23 species of aliens, and there are some good ones and some bad ones.
I'd rather lose the ability to speak. Like we'll always communicate telepathically, but we still have beer. Do they still have mouths if they don't speak? How would they drink beer?
I don't know. Speaking of which, though, let's cheers this and give it a nice little sip, and then
Thank you to our good friend in the parking lot, Joy. Cheers. It's got some vapors coming off of it.
Oh wow, that's unique.
That's some serious stuff right there.
It's quite floral. The ginger is like,
Yeah.
it's almost like, I don't know. It might come across as being like a bad review, but it's almost soapy. Like,
It's powerful. I'll
Very
just say that.
powerful.
Very powerful.
yeah.
It's the
So we're gonna clear the air on the mysterious fire.
okay.
Which
Yeah.
I do have proof. I have proof that this fire that we saw. There's a picture of
You haven't
smoke
dropped
plume.
anything. Yeah.
No, I haven't actually.
Nobody believes us at this point.
Before
We're gonna
we,
prove the doubters wrong.
yeah, there's no. I don't think there's doubters. There's just anxious.
What happened?
Anxious Andes
Yeah.
out there who are like,
I didn't
"Well,
realize
what
what
ended
we
up
were
happening with that fire?" It's like, yeah, we're
Sorry.
gonna get to it. We're gonna get to the cliffhanger.
in July.
You've never been if you've never been cliff hung before. But before we get to that, we should just say, because I'm looking at it right now, hopefully this will work as a substitute for the core meltdown that the GoPro.
The GoPro has served many purposes. We figured out how to use it. It's not for in-studio
It's not.
recording.
It's really good in the field, and I think
It
so
is.
far, if you haven't noticed, we do have a YouTube channel now, Tumble Home, a Boundary Waters podcast on YouTube. I know for myself personally, a lot of times I like podcasts for what they are and YouTube channels for what they are, and they don't usually cross over. So it is what it is. If you want to check out some of the videos, a lot of times it's going to be redundant.
I thought you had video of you catching that pike on Adams.
I did. I do, and I will. I'm just going to put that on this episode.
Oh, okay.
I've got that one. I've got the portage from Goddard to Brant that I
Yeah.
cursed out. So you can check the show notes going forward, especially if we're in the field.
Select clips.
Yeah, there's going to be maybe some GoPro footage of that. But we kind of found out that it melts down like Chernobyl if you just try to do like an hour straight.
Graphite tipped rods.
Yeah.
Take them all out and then stick them back in.
So we're
Switch xenon.
we're trying just live streaming right through YouTube, and then as of right now,
I keep looking over like I'm breaking the third wall right
Yeah,
now.
no, so we're not we are live, but we're not really live. It's live, but we're going to keep it private, and then we'll make it public when we publish the show as a podcast.
Feels a little cowardly, but
Well, I mean,
safe.
it is also
'Cause we don't know
the
how it's
first
gonna
time
work.
we've done this.
Yeah.
So if you are interested going forward, we might make it so like on certain times we do a live recording. But I know, like I said, I prefer just to have my podcast as podcast, because once I listen to one, I'm not going to like go on and like watch it. So whatever, if you want to watch it,
there are
if
some
you want to
podcasts
see
where
what we
they
look
just,
like.
yeah, it is neat to kind of like, if you've been listening to a podcast for a while and you go on and like, what, that's what that guy looks like? Come
Ugh,
on.
I don't like him as much now. But like you can see, like, you know,
does it ever help?
no,
Really?
not really.
Well, at least they can see the map.
You can see what the bottle of
and
beer
the
looks
bottle of
like.
beer.
You can see what the t-shirts that we're going to show look like in a little bit here. But for the most part, we're still going to 95%.
You see Eric's new
is
haircut.
going to be the focus of
Very
the show. Is going to be
Euro.
audio. So just
Still.
figured I'd
better
throw that
for-
out. Yes. Before we get to the final revealing of the mystery, which I don't think we ever came to. I think as the trip went on, we got very close to basically coming to the conclusion of what the fire actually was.
Yeah, I think so.
In listening to it, I'm like, man, we were so close to just like, why didn't you follow that?
We seemed very certain that it was very close.
Yes, which
But,
it wasn't.
You would think that we would understand the scale of things.
Yeah.
Maybe it isn't just the next lake over. Maybe we're just seeing the very tippy tops of it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, we have like we said in those first few episodes, experience with wildfires, and it seemed very close.
It did seem.
It seemed like it was right there.
If we had put us in the same spot in the same place again, I would be like, that is right there. It's right in the next lake. It's on the island on Adams. But no, folks, and dear listeners and friends, it was not on the island at Adams. And if you listen to part 1 and 2, you now know this. And we know this. But where was that damn fire?
Yeah.
Well,
we basically found out right when we got back.
Yeah.
You did it.
It took a pretty simple amount of Google searching, about a minute worth.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a prescribed burn, not in the Boundary Waters at all, but quite a bit south. I think it's kind of obscured here.
Oh, yeah.
It was north and east of Isabella. Here's Isabella Lake. And it was, but Isabella, the town, is kind of right here in the middle of the Tumblehome placard. So it was kind of up in here.
Basically,
and
like north of Lutzen, right? Tonti?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it was, if you draw a line.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that.
There's the island on Adams.
Like
it was
20 miles
We
south.
were like looking in the correct direction, but very much farther away than we actually anticipated it. Honestly, in hindsight, it's a little embarrassing, but
I don't know.
Given where we were and that we hadn't heard anything about it before we left. I don't know. I mean, how are we supposed to know it was that far away?
Well, yeah, we had heard nothing about it prior. Wasn't it a 400-acre prescribed burn?
Yeah, here I've got the fact sheet.
Fact sheet.
Oh
yeah, it shows up real nice.
Yeah, that worked. Satellite prescribed fire project. This is from the USDA. 437 acres.
Jeez.
Areas include in the Fireball project are timber harvest units where logging activities have taken place. Under favorable weather conditions, fire will be broadcasted across the harvest units to consume residual post-harvest slash and layers of organic dust. Treating the units with prescribed fire will clean up the slash to allow for tree planting species such as pine and spruce. That's it. That's what they told us.
Yeah, don't call it in. We know the forest is on
437.
fire.
Yeah, we got back and I was like, we saw a fire. And Natalie or multiple people were like, oh yeah, it was on the Selling SWAT. They were like, don't call it in. Mm-hmm. It's a huge thing. They had also, there's another one up by Baker that was a 40-acre fire in the same time frame. But that's quite a bit farther to the east and a lot smaller. A 437-acre prescribed burn fire. It was dubbed the satellite fire. And so it was just north of Dumbbell Lake. Deldy, Round, Dumbbell.
Oh, there's Dumbbell right there, just south of Shoefly.
Yeah, so it was literally in the middle of the Tumblehome sticker here, or placard.
Yeah, and if you are
just north of Dumbbell, but south of Sylvania.
That's Isabella.
This was Sylvania right here. So it was literally right here in the W on the Tumblehome Boundary Waters podcast. 437 acres and favorable conditions. And they knocked all that duff and slashed down to smithereens.
Nice.
Preparing it for planting. So what we were seeing in hindsight was the very tops of that plume.
Yeah. And
the resulting haze moving to the east with the westerly to northwesterly winds. But pretty excited when we got back, and it was like, okay, well, we were way wrong, but this makes a lot of sense then. That was exactly what we were seeing, just way off in the distance. So I don't know, maybe 30 miles to our south from our position there on Boulder and Adams at the time.
Yeah.
Definitely not on Adams, and it was definitely not on Malmberg. So I do owe an apology to the hypothetical campers we disparaged.
Yes, of course, it has to be
some campers
deranged campers who got out of control.
Loose.
Yeah, no, there was nothing like that of the sort at all. And like thinking back on it, it's like, there's no way. Like it was pretty wet out there still. Like,
yeah. Well, perfect conditions for a prescribed burn. And we even said a few times, like, maybe it was a prescribed burn in the park itself. Like, no, they just really don't do that. So
no, they talk about like they want to do that, but
I've never in my experience have
never really work out. No.
So that was this satellite fire. You can go look it up. Just Google that, or I don't know. I basically have read you everything there is to know about it.
Yeah.
You could probably Freedom of Information Act the Forest Service, and you'll find out more in 3 to 5 years. And it isn't going to be a lot more. So that was what they were doing. And the forest is healthier for it. So there's the mystery. It's solved.
It's solved. It was still a prescribed bird.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting at the time. And like, maybe we're into something here. But, good to know what it was, at least. We kind of figured something out. You know what we didn't figure out was, the hell is that plane doing?
We never did figure out.
Never did hear anything as far as there was definitely no search and rescue operations going on while we were gone, and never heard a satisfactory explanation from the Forest Service as to what they were doing.
No, it's probably
perhaps it wasn't them though.
It's probably the Border Patrol just doing whatever they want.
Well, I was asking around, and it said a lot of people who I talked to were like, "That sounds like something the Border Patrol would be up to,"
because they just have. That's right. You heard me.
They drive around and they really disregard the rules.
They're beholden to no one.
In the name of safety, of all the threats from Canada.
Yeah.
And they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. That's our best guess on that one. And as we've learned with the forest fire discussion, it's probably best that we don't elaborate too much farther on our guess, but just to say, we had brought that up, and it was kind of one of the loose ends from this trip. That like, what the hell is that plane doing?
That one has no real answer.
So many times in the park, and never ever seen a plane fly right over the top.
Regularly, 3 days.
And then 3 days in a row, this plane's flying around, seemingly just doing nothing.
Yeah, no answer there.
So our best guess on that one, just based on getting back and talking around, and our best guess is it was some sort of Border Patrol flight. For looking for drug smuggling, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a weird one.
Who knows? So
if anybody listening is a U.S. Forest Service or Border Patrol officer, send us an email.
Yeah, we'd love to know. I mean, it just seemed really unnecessary at the time, and
especially now knowing that they were controlled fires, there was a potential that it was like, well, maybe they're just making sure it's not jumping or getting out of control.
But they weren't anywhere near that.
No, they were. It did now that we know where that fire was. It's like, well, they were probably 40 miles away.
Yeah,
they weren't even close to where the actual burn was, and it didn't seem like they were doing any kind of like circling to make sure. Oh, it's getting a little jumpy over here. They were just on a straight like A to B line, straight east to west.
The other possibility is that it was honestly just like a confused private citizen looking for moose or something that didn't know the rules. That's also a possibility. Yeah. And then somebody I work with was like, honestly, even if it was Forest Service or Border Patrol, you should just call it in as a complaint. Like, hey, we were out and this plane was flying around definitely below the ceiling.
As a complaint?
Yeah, what the heck? We want to file a complaint. It was a seaplane. Give them the dates at least, and then maybe we'll find out. And so we haven't actually filed a formal complaint. Seems unnecessary at this point, but we also have spent a good deal of the last 3 episodes complaining about these planes. So I'm at least considering writing a strongly written letter of complaint.
Strongly written.
We'd like to know.
Gold.
Yeah, I would like to know. Get to the bottom of this. So I don't know, whatever. But that was another one. I was way more interested to find out what happened with that fire when we got back. And so honestly, the plane thing kind of went to the back of my mind. And then it was like a week later, I started asking around, and that's what people came up with. Our best results of groupthink was that. So whatever.
Well, the only other thing from that trip I think that we have is I posted it.
The goose?
In the show notes of episode 2, the name of the YouTube video is Clearly Swans on
Clearly Swans, yeah.
Because we for whatever reason
it looked like the head of a goose.
Yeah, but we got really even in that video we're like man, look at these swans. And then every subsequent recording we were like, oh, those crazy snow geese.
Well, when they went by, what the head of a goose looks like that. They have a certain shape. I've seen a lot of geese in my life.
Yeah.
And that's what their head looks like. I've never seen a swan up close. So they went by us crazy close and was like, wow, okay, I guess it was some sort of goose. Mm-hmm. Snow goose. Wrong.
Yeah, but when we got home, I searched snow goose, and they have barely any neck, very short neck. And they're like
they're
half
nasty
the size.
little runty.
No, they're
goose.
not nasty, but they're like definitely like half the size.
They're nasty. They're no swan, that's for sure.
No, but I mean, I am glad that video did.
So we got to the bottom of that one.
Definitely did produce the audio that I was hoping that you get that
the
like
feathers
crackling.
Oh boy!
Yeah. So if you haven't checked out that video,
Wide bodies.
Yeah.
Taking off on a
swans.
short runway.
Yeah.
Full throttle. They had the brakes on. Just go.
Yeah. So check out that.
Pretty cool.
In episode 2 show notes. Any video going forward, we're always just going to put in the show notes. One last piece of housekeeping, I guess you could say. I don't like saying that because it's not exciting. It's like, hey, I'm going to listen to this podcast, and they're just going to housekeep. Yeah. But it's kind of important, I think, just in case. We're going to get to a voicemail here in a second, a fun one. We'll talk about that, and then
you're going to rag on our ornithology skills?
No, it's not. It
I know my parents are going to be disappointed that I misidentified that swan.
I know. I would be too. No, the voicemail is fun. It's a throwback to the Lost Boys.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about the finally the new OGOC artwork T-shirts that we got in. We're gonna throw that.
Are we talking about it now?
Yeah, in just a second. But before we get there, I want to talk about this because things may happen where it doesn't go as smoothly as I want it to. So we're transitioning from where we currently post this show to a standalone website, tumblehomepodcast.com. Excuse me, https://tumblehomepodcast.com. Its own standalone, secure website. We are, for reasons that we will go into in the future, some of them good, some of them bad, but I think in all accounts, it's just a good move for us to have our own standalone website for the podcast to be hosted from. It is kind of a little inside baseball that may not interest you, but the main reason that I'm saying it is there is a potential for a bit of a hiccup in how the podcast is distributed to people who listen to it. The RSS feed and how it is disseminated.
I'm nodding.
We've got a nodder.
I don't understand any of this.
So there's potential, and this is happening. So this is going to come out. This episode now is going to be how every episode prior has come out. Episode 60 is going to be transferred over onto the new system. So by all accounts, you shouldn't notice, but if for some reason you don't see episode 60 popping up a week from today, which would be the 30th of June, you
write
may
handwritten letter.
No, don't write handwritten letters. You just may need to research for us and resubscribe. It's a little convoluted and confusing in how RSS feeds work and how podcasts go out. And I'm pretty sure I've got it all figured out, but I'm also not an expert in this. So just letting you know,
if are on June, tech support.
Yes, I am tech support. If June 30th comes and July 1st rolls around and all of a sudden it's like, I haven't seen a new Tumble Home episode in a while.
Yeah.
Just know that you may have to refresh that. We're going to do everything we can to make it as seamless for you as possible. I know it's not a very fun conversation, but I just wanted to throw that out there because we are moving away from being sponsored by Clearwater. We'll go into that in more detail somewhere down the line. So,
well, Arrow used to be our tech support guru, but
look at her now.
She got fired because she ran off and then came back 2 days later covered in mud.
Yeah.
I was like, did you update the RSS feed? And she was like, Worf.
All right.
Oh, you idiot.
All right. Before we get to the voicemail, we finally did get your
Tumble Time
original content. Shout out Duluth Screen Printing Company. Yeah. And if you're looking on the YouTube, you can see I
can tell you what, these are soft.
Very soft.
We did not skimp on the t-shirt quality.
No, it's some sweet artwork that Adam did that we got screen printed onto some very soft heather gray t-shirts, and they are, as of right now, only available to our Poppin' Wheelers. Those would be going out by the end of the month. And then with this new website, we are hoping to get it to a point where if you want to buy some merch, you can buy some merch. But we're not there yet.
Just for the Poppin' Wheelers for now. It's pretty exclusive
yeah.
VIP merch right now.
Yeah, it's just little steps forward here and there. So
you have to be patient, or then somebody was like, "What's a Poppin' Wheeler?" Anyways.
Oh yeah, but and then
we only will tell the Poppin' Wheelers what that is actually.
Well, I did explain it to him. He's like, "How did I ever miss that?"
Pizza and beer. I don't know why it was secret for some reason.
It's not that secret.
We never explained it.
We did.
It was just at the very end of an episode.
It's at the very, very end of the
only Poppin' Wheelers would have
PMA episode.
Oh yeah,
of last year.
It was in the show notes.
Yeah, so we're going to pause here for a second because I'm going to play the voicemail that we have. You won't really notice the pause, but I need to pause it to play it for Adam.
I've never heard the voicemail yet.
And we will respond to it, and we'll come back in just a second, finish up with what we're going to be doing this month on the Trough Treats bonus episode this month. But be right back. Not for you guys. All right, where is it? Volume.
Hi, this is Antonio. I just thought of something, and I just wanted to make sure it was fact checked by you guys. That guy that got lost with the right tent where it snowed, and he veered to the right because he was right-handed, or was he left-handed? I'm not sure I remember that. But what would you say would happen if you are right-handed and your partner in the Boundary Waters is left-handed and you both got lost? If you were to both hold hands, would you then go in a straight line and not veer one way or the other? Anyway, hope I can get an answer to that. Thanks, guys. Bye.
So was that recorded, or we just
That's recorded on there, but we'll just skip
but
ahead.
You're gonna add that in.
Yes, so everybody will get to hear.
All right, so then
we can just say we can just go right into whatever.
Okay, so excellent question, and
Antonio, right?
Yeah,
it sounded like Antonio.
It was Antonio.
Yeah,
and I love the way your mind works, Antonio. I would have to agree with your sentiments. However, the woods are thick, and so trying to hold hands and walk together, through the woods, you may end up going in a straight line, but you may just end up hugging and crying and being lost. I don't know. I would say you're gonna I'd say 25% chance you walk in a straight line, 50% chance you just end up hugging inside of a hollowed out log.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if they cancel each other out, but it's an interesting theory.
He's definitely having fun with it, but in reality, I'm trying to think how walking through the thick brush hand in hand would really work.
Yeah,
and if it meant
that's being too logical.
If it meant going like you knew you were just truly going to go straight, then it might be worth it. But at the same time,
you have to really be in tune with your partner, not just being offhanded. As well. Yeah, that's a tough one. I would say just stay with the tent. Just stay with the tent.
Stay with the tent.
Don't leave the lake shore. Just stay with the tent and hug in the tent. Mm-hmm. And then we don't even have to get into it.
Just hold hands in the tent.
Mm-hmm.
Until,
hold hands in the tent.
Yeah.
And read your bad map.
Oh, and, yes, your artistic rendition of a map. Yeah.
But interesting. Definitely don't cloverleaf, whatever you're going to do.
I think that there is a part of cloverleafing if you maintain a proximity to the lake, that is okay. But
sure.
If you're cloverleafing like just in the middle of the woods, I don't think there's any way to like truly do that well. But if you're cloverleafing off of like what do you think of portage ends, then it might actually work. If you kind of keep that lake off to your right shoulder or whatever.
The real question is like, okay, so you're right-handed and your partner is left-handed. Do you hold hands by your dominant hands or by the off hands and then keep your dominant hands out to the side as like an antenna?
The force,
like a moose antenna.
You might just not be able to hold on to hands.
Is this kind of like a witching, like a wand situation where you're
oh yeah, what do they call
zoning
those?
in?
Those
It's
watering sticks
witching
that
wands, I
bend
think.
down.
Or is it the two wands that kind of...
No, it's like you hold it and then like the tip bends down when it finds water.
Yeah, I would say you're gonna want to hold hands by, like, if I'm right-handed and if you're right-handed and I'm left-handed, we wouldn't want to hold hands by our dominant hands here. We'd want to switch positions. We're going that way. Keep your dominant hand out.
What happens if you just jump? All right, so maybe it would work better for you and maybe Natalie, who is a lighter woman. She just jumps on your back, and then you hold hands while she's on your back.
So only one set of legs?
Yeah. So then there's only one set of legs. You don't have the branches getting in between the hands, but you're still maintaining that, like,
the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the connection.
So you gotta eliminate legs,
yeah.
But keep the
mind connection
connected. Yeah.
But maybe the handedness only plays into account if
when your own
walking.
feet are working with your own hand and mind.
Yeah. There's only one way.
I think the way he was asking it is that
two people walking.
Yeah, you're walking.
Yeah.
And so it counterbalances the effect of trying to swerve.
Yes.
In the one direction or not. I don't know though. I've been lost in the woods with not just by myself, and we still walked in circles. We were not holding hands though.
See?
So
there you go.
I think it's all about togetherness, and once again, just being one with nature. So interesting question. I like the premise.
Yeah, that's good. We haven't had a voicemail in a while.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it that way. So thank you for the question. I hope we at least gave it a go at a satisfactory answer. Yeah, we may or may not have, but
we gave it a good go.
I felt like it was pretty decent.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I think that's about it. We're gonna get you back to.
So where do we leave off? We're still on Little Sag, about to leave.
Yes.
From our campsite review on Little Sag.
It's a questionable audio quality 12-minute track of us sitting around the fire talking about ring ruts and how the Costa Rican tang.
This is with the tang and rum.
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There's some rum involved, and then the last track is a solid one from the Round Lake entry point.
Right on.
Where we kind of recapped our day out.
We're completing the figure eight, the helix, if you will.
Yes, double helix. Amen. So yeah, it's half in the studio, half in the field. Finally, finding out what happened with the fire, and going forward, we've got more in the field audio coming at you. In the bag, walleye fishing. Excited about that. Haven't even really started listening to that, but that's going to be out.
The trip, that trip was a good time too.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's almost halfway. By the time we get to a point where we can put out more episodes, we are going to be probably over halfway through the summer, and we still have not found a way to get out and do the Grand Portage, but it is still on the list. It is up there on the list, and we are hopefully going to get out there and do it. And by all accounts, I've read the CFS, cubic feet per second, like the minimum that you can do it is like 100. Right. It's still like almost close to like 900.
It was almost 1,000 last time I looked, because we were considering leaving like this tomorrow, next Sunday.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen this Sunday, but it was still pretty high, honestly. It was sounding more like 500 CFS was ideal. So I think we got plenty of time on that one. It sounds like an exciting trip, and it's like we're definitely going to do it. It just...
You're such a
arrow.
Yeah. So we got that is not necessarily penciled in any way, shape, or form, but we want to do it. And then there's just me and the geologist's wife have literally not camped together for like, I think it's been years.
You guys are working too hard.
So we're getting out soon. We're doing a new entry point, and hopefully can bring you some content from a lake that is as far west as we can get. I know we get a lot of talk about, hey, you get off the Gunflint. So we're doing a Hog Creek.
I'm pretty excited to hear how that all goes. I've always wondered what was on Hog Creek.
Yeah, down into Parent Lake. We're doing that early July. I don't know if there's going to be any audio from this trip, but we are doing a second annual. We're going to make it an annual thing.
Yes.
4th of Brulai circus trip. We're going back out to Brule. We're inviting all of our friends, which still probably won't make
it's like
9.
6 people.
Yeah, so like 6 people are going out to.
Awesome. We're possibly gonna have costumes this year.
Oh yeah, there's costumes.
I might get like one of those big inflatable alligators or like an orca.
Classic pool.
Actually, Natalie was looking. She found me like this big magical unicorn floaty thing.
Nice.
Which I might have to just get.
Yeah.
That reminds me too. I woke up yesterday was the solstice. I woke up at like 1 a.m. to somebody in the neighborhood was lighting off what it sounded like to be a whole crate full of firecrackers.
Really?
At 1 a.m.
Neighborhood. That's a aggressive use of that word for what
it is. Yeah, somewhere in the Margaritaville loop here. I don't know what the heck was going on. It was somebody really enjoying the solstice. So.
Wow.
And I heard that the moonrise last night was pretty magical, and there's people like screaming in town like over the moonrise.
Yeah, well, it's the time of year.
Strange times.
Solstice, pagan rituals.
Absolutely.
We talked about this last year at this time about how I kind of love and hate the long days. I'm very happy that they are going to finally start tipping back towards a little bit shorter.
We're on our way back to winter, friend.
But I am also very excited to see that we finally got some. I mean, I live up here for a reason. Generally cool temperatures, but we've got some 80s coming our way, and I want
do we?
As hot as possible for that Brule trip.
Yeah, I want to be able to swim.
I'm just spending that whole trip just swimming in the water. It's just swimming. We're not
doing
around.
We're just big floating, unicorn.
Just slip bobbering, sitting in tubes, and just chilling out.
I might do I still have not gotten a good life vest. And that's kind of the last open-ended thread here. But I'm going to keep bringing out my crappy life vest. I might put it on upside down like a diaper and just float around on Brule with a slip bobber. That might be the ultimate last hurrah for
just
that Steve Zissou.
Always just use it as a diaper?
Yeah, that's for diapering only. No.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else before we end on some field audio?
No, sir. Let's get back to it and finish up this beautiful Heart of the Park trip. One of my favorite trips we've ever done.
It's been great. See if I can actually find the.
Hola, amigos. Hola from the little seg.
Oh no,
it's good.
It's good.
We are.
I'll leave it at that.
Oh my God, no. Hola.
Oh, I should end this stream too. Whoa, look at that hanging mic back there. Bye. I don't know if the audio on this is going to turn out or not, but